Hi, my name is Kimberly, and I started this channel because, um, well, the Father has shown me some things that are very important, and He also said my last video was really long, so I'm going to read it off my laptop. And I have a very important message for all the nations, the tribes, in all languages of this world. I have been shown that a great destruction of fire is coming upon us. I've been seeing the number 222 for over a year now. Actually, it's been more like a year and a half. And it means Uriel, flame of the Most High. It also means other things, which it's a chapter in my book. But he told me to look up on my book, my Bible, which is the Institute for Scriptural Research. It's where they put his holy names back in the scripture, and they're beautiful. So anyway, I actually did a big study on it. So I looked up in my Bible on page 222, and it was Deuteronomy 32. It tells you who's coming against you, and it tells you why. And you can go to Bible Hub and you can find the translation that I use. A lot of people use it. The Institute for Scriptural Research, the ISR. It's on Bible Hub, and you can even order it online. After that, I thought, well, I wonder what's on page 666. So I read it, and it is Psalms 36 and 37, and it is a wonderful read. I hope you'll read it because it's important. So after that, I started seeing the number 422. And 422, it says, so I used Bill Heydrich's Hebrew Gematria, and he has the value of words. And so the word was, or the number 422 means burning, a people return, and then to write it down. So I've been writing down all these scriptures that he's been showing me while I was dying. You want to know what's going to happen to you. So I started hearing in my spirit to read Old Testament, and that's what I did. And he showed me a lot of things, and that's why I want to share them with you, because I think we're running out of time. I wrote this book. I spent over a year on it, and I named it Coming Back from the Dead, which is the name of my channel. And I wasn't sure why he was removing me. We were very religious people, raised in the church, taught our children and their friends up until high school. But he said that he was removing me. He showed me why he was killing me. And the biggest thing was the wages of sin is death. So I had to know that it was my own sin that was causing me to die. I had stage 4 kidney failure. After my transplant, I had heart problems. I was in and out of the hospital for 8 years. I was just sick all the time. Couldn't believe I was going home every time I was driving home. So the first thing he showed me was the name, and I didn't listen at first. But then he started showing me about the cross. You really need to research that. It's named after like 300 goddesses of fertility. Everything in Old Testament is about trees, and I mean everything. And I have that in my book where it talks about the trees. And anyway, I don't want to get off track. So I got rid of all my crosses. That was the first thing that went out of my house. And I'm telling you, we stopped getting attacked. And then we moved. And at that time, I was learning about his name, but I was still rejecting it. But you know, everybody's done the study on his names. He has many names, but it's very important that what I'm going to tell you about his name, I hope you understand it. So, anyway, basically, I spent a year on my book talking to publishers, fixing to get it published, and I couldn't sell his word. You know, it says that he's the word. He says that um, we're to follow him because he's the way, he's the truth, he's the life. You know, if we read the word, he will stay in us and we will stay in him. And so um, the next thing we started getting rid of was celebrating all the holidays. We quit doing that. My mom didn't like it at all. But after she passed away, I gave all of that stuff away. Every single thing. I got rid of it. Because the Father means more to me than any of those trinkets, any of those holidays. And I hope you research it. And that's also a chapter in my book. But I hope you research it. Because every single holiday that we celebrate in this world is pagan. It's the worship of a pagan God. So, you know, we even celebrate ourselves. We celebrate birthdays. We put ourselves in, we celebrate everything except for him. We're not following him. And you're going to see what I mean here in a second. So, I also talk about the laws of his festivals that he says we're to keep as a remembrance to him, all the things that he did for us. And, you know, we don't even work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Nobody's afraid. Read the story of Mount Sinai, how he came down on the mountain in lightning and thunder, and the earth shook. The people actually ran away. And Moshe chased him down. He says, don't run away. He's just doing that so you won't sin, right? Because fear is the beginning of wisdom. So one of the chapters in my, I kept seeing things on Satan. And so I started reading Ezekiel. And in Ezekiel 28, it is the creation of Satan. He said, in that scripture, it says he's just a man. He's not Elohim, the mighty one. But that scripture says he was a priest. He was in Eden when he was created, or he was in Eden, the day he was created, and that he walked up and down among the stones of fire, and that his mounting and settings were created just for him. So the mounting and settings in Exodus 28 is Aaron's priestly garments. And Satan only had 9 stones. I don't know why, and I can't wait to find out. So I'm like, wow. Because we were having problems with the church there in the end of our relationship with them. Some really long stories. But so one day I make this vow, and that's what this video is about, and why I have to get it out. And so I made a vow during a storm. I live in Texas, and I told the Father, I said, if you let it rain in my yard only, I will tell everyone about your name. And so that night, it didn't rain. Then when I got up in the morning, it was raining. It was a good rain, too. It was a soaking rain. And I went out and I stood in it. And in my mind, I said, it would have been so cool if it would have just been my yard. But that's okay. You know, we needed rain. So by noon, all the clouds were gone. And so I knew we weren't getting any rain. So I'm sitting on the porch, and I'm waiting for my daughter to get off work, and it's around 2 o'clock. She sits down on the porch with me, and she says, what is that noise? Or what is that? What is that I see? And I'm like, what? And she goes up on the deck to look above the roof line to look for a cloud, and there was nothing. And it was raining at the end of my porch. There was this I'm going to call it a pillar, because it was just one section, and the sun was going down, and it was lighting up those raindrops, and they were huge, and we were jumping up and down. But I ran in the house to get my husband, and of course it wasn't there when I got back. But it was so cool because I had a witness. That was very important. So he answered my vow, and so now I'm sharing his name. And you're probably not going to agree with me. Most people don't. But here it is. Exodus 3. In the very beginning, he tells you what his name is. I am that which I am. But in Hebrew, that means Aniyah, Asher, Aniyah. Pretty cool, huh? So Aniyah, I am Asher. So in Deuteronomy 33, read that chapter, and it's all about the sun. So they're they're in the wilderness. Moshe is on Mount Shechem, and the children of Israel are sitting at the feet. So feet of the Father, and receiving His word. So read the section on Asher. So Asher is the Assyrians. That would be Iraq, Iran, wherever the Assyrians are. And they are a group of mighty warriors. And they're coming against Israel right now. That whole region is. So another popular name we use is Yah-em Hua, he who cried, or he who self-exists. Yahuwah, he who self-exists. And then his son, Yahushua, is he who cried out. In John 5:43, he said he came in his Father's name, but no one would receive him. But if another comes in his own name, him you will receive. So, John 1 says he's the Word. Revelations 19:13 says Messiah is the Word of his Father. And he says, right, follow him, he's the way, he's the truth. So if he's the Word, we're to follow the Word. Because he says he's our teacher. No one else is our teacher. He's our Father. No one else is our Father. And that's one of the names that he says in Jeremiah 3, to call me my Father. So I think that it's important that we go to my Father until we figure out what his real names are. You know, it's important you go on this journey to work out your salvation, to be afraid. So the word church means Circe, goddess, daughter of Helios, the god of the underworld. And the name Lord is Strong's word 1167, and it means B-A-A-L, Baal. Lord means Baal, the God of Old Testament that everyone worshiped. Jeremiah 23:27 says his children, just like their fathers, have forgotten his name for Baal. And it's all through Old Testament. I mean, he says it everywhere. So the name everybody goes by, the whole world uses it, is Jesus. There is no J in the Greek or Hebrew alphabet. The name Jesus is Latin, and it means, hey, Zeus. You're conjuring Zeus. The name God is short for Godin. And you think about these names. Godin, God damn it. Oh my God. It's blasphemed. Our Father would not use a name that everyone uses. Every religion, every cult calls their deity God. And so, who's going to show up? Who do you want to show up? So, and guess what the world did with these mighty ones? We invited them into our heart. The seat of jealousy. The holy place where he doesn't belong. And, we're blaspheming the holy names by calling on these names. We're blaspheming his names. And unfortunately, Satan was given authority to do these things, and he changed the scriptures. Um, he changed he kept the scripture, but he changed the name. And so Jeremiah 51:1 says that the Father, Yahuwah, is stirring up a destroyer against Babel, which is sin. And he said, for those who dwell in Lab, my opponents. Well, when you look up Lab, I thought it was a town. It means inner man, the heart, the mind, the soul. So he, throughout that whole chapter, says he's going to fight for his Hakal, his temple. You, me, we are the Hakal, the temple. We're the body of his son. We make up his body. So, this is the great falling away. This is the abomination that causes desolation. This is the scripture that when he said, many on that day are going to say, Master, Master, did I not prophesy in your name and cast out demons and do many wondrous works? And he's going to say, depart from me. I never knew you, you workers of sin. So I have a chapter on that. What sin we had, why our Messiah actually died for us. So during this dying journey that I went on, I read a story of Elijah, Eliyahu, in Hebrew. And he tests the names of all the gods, all the mighty ones. And they built a fire pit, and they put a sacrifice on it. And so I asked him, I said, can I do something like that? Can we do that? And so my husband, he goes out on this fire call. It's at the fire chief's land here in our neighborhood, the voluntary fire department. And lightning during this storm had hit a log and ignited a fire in the middle of the night. So, they finally get it under control. And then, I'm still praying about this. And I had a dream that I was stomping out a fire in my backyard. And I'm like, are you telling me that you're going to do this? And I said, can you do it again? For yes. And so my husband went back out on another fire call. And this time it was the same fire, but it had rekindled. And, oh man, I just couldn't believe it. So I asked for a third time. I really did. It was later on. And he did have a fire call. It was a small fire. And it was out on the highway. A young man was in an accident and was care flighted out. And we were the first responders until other fire departments and ambulances could get there. And so I was excited. Because people don't believe you. I've told many people on YouTube, people that I've watched, and nobody believes me. That's the hardest part. So I'm kind of excited about doing this. And so during all this time of the 222 destruction's coming, I thought it was last year, but he keeps showing it to me. So I know he's doing it because it's an urgent time. And we all know that. We all know the world is coming to its last days, or we all believe that it'll be soon. And so something really tragic happened in my family, and it took me a year to get over it. And I ended up being by myself a lot and crying, and I lost my way for a little bit. I was just praying a lot. I was alone a lot, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful time of healing. And just recently, I have been, researching and studying all the things that he's been showing me on what's coming. Revelations 19 is a really good one to read. But I said, Satan can bring down fire in the last days. I said, how about if we try fire and then rain, like you showed me at the end of my porch? And I kid you not, within the hour, my husband came home and he was running around here getting dressed. He had a fire out on the highway near our house, and he didn't have time to eat this time. So he was about 45 minutes fighting the fire, and he called. He was filling up the water truck, and he asked me to bring him a sandwich. I kid you not. I started fixing his sandwich, and it started raining. I drove up there crying, and my husband, I told him, I said, I prayed for this. He goes, I know. Because I was telling him as he was going, I said, babe, this is what I did. And he knows about all of it. He's a witness. It's even recorded at our fire department. So, I'm ready to do this. I'm challenging the world today to go outside and build a fire, a pit, and test the names that you believe in. You're running out of time, you know. And if I were you, I would cast everyone out of your heart right now and just call on the Father who created you and all that is in this world, and call on Him and ask Him to show you the truth. Fall on your knees and ask Him to show you the truth. Call on your mighty ones. And then if they don't answer, you rebuke them like I did. I had to, I got shingles, and I rebuked them because they lied to me, and they are lying. This is not who we should be calling on. I even reached out to Glenn Beck and Tucker Carlson. I'm like, let's televise this. But you don't need me. You don't need anybody else to see this. This is between you and the Father. And there are things coming that we're not ready for. Isaiah 13 says that giants are coming to fulfill His wrath, and the beast of the field. And so I just think it's time. Test the names. And thank you for watching my video. I'm going to do the next one on the new moon, how to find the true Sabbath. Thank you.